And first at 6 tonight, a question. Who polices the police? Good evening. I'm Glenn Jones.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. So 3 major cases that we have been following are all in the headlines today, and they all involve allegations of inappropriate behavior from law enforcement. First, there's Karen Reed, who is accused of killing her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. During her trial, vulgar text messages sent between troopers were made public. Well, now the NBC 10 investigators are learning more about whether supervisors failed to take action.
Then there's the murder of Sandra Birchmore. A former officer is accused of killing her and staging her death as a suicide. He's also said to have fathered her unborn child.
And most recently, the death of state police trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia. What happened at the new Braintree Police Academy, and who is responsible for investigating it? So far, no answers have been given.
Concerns about how these cases are being handled led to a crowd of people on Beacon Hill today, all demanding accountability and action. Tonight, our team takes a look at those concerns and the cases that sparked them.
We do want to begin with our NBC 10's Eli Rosenberg joining us live at the State House, the site of today's demonstration. Eli, good evening.
Good evening, Priscilla. Dozens of people out here for several hours this afternoon. Many have been out here for every single rally, attended every single day of Karen Reed's 9-week trial, but others were out here for the first time. In the crowd outside the State House, Margaret Donabed, here because she was moved to action, she says.
I'm not the kind of person who would normally do something like this.
So Donabed spending Thursday afternoon here.
Thank you all.
Also here, Karen Reed's brother, speaking in his first interview since a new prosecutor was appointed in his sister's case.
We firmly believe the facts are on our side, and those will come out again in court. Facts don't change.
This rally intended to continue to shine a spotlight on the deaths of several people, from Boston police officer John O'Keefe to Sandra Birchmore, to the most recent death of Enrique Delgado-Garcia. The 25-year-old died last week after suffering injuries during a training exercise at the State Police Academy.
We want to know what happened to him, because what happened in that training exercise doesn't make sense. You know, we just want transparency.
What's coming out of MSP in regards to the young man out in New Braintree is troubling. What happened? Who knows? I don't know. But it is troubling, concerning.
This is the Karen Reed movement.
Many out here this afternoon have been regulars, appearing outside court during Reed's 9-week trial.
I'm declaring a mistrial in this case.
And with that ending in a mistrial, they say they plan to continue these rallies in support of her and everyone else.
Every day, I think it can't possibly get worse, can it? And every day, it seems as though something else remarkable happens.
And organizers tell us more rallies like what we saw out here this afternoon will happen in the coming months. Karen Reed's second trial now slated for late January. Meanwhile, the investigations involving Birchmore and Delgado continue this evening. Live outside the State House, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
The NBC 10 investigators has new information relating to the Karen Reed trial. Massachusetts State Police say there's not enough evidence to prove a high-ranking officer failed to take action against inappropriate text messages. You might remember the shocking testimony of Trooper Michael Proctor, the lead investigator in the case, reading those messages aloud in court. He's now suspended without pay. NBC 10 investigator Ryan Kath obtained a copy of an internal affairs probe into the situation and joins us live in studio with what it reveals.
And Glenn, the report focuses on a text thread between Proctor and several other state troopers, including Lieutenant John Fanning. The messages included unprofessional and derogatory remarks about Reed, which the defense argued showed a bias against their client during the investigation. The question tonight, did Fanning fail in his duty to supervise Proctor for the inappropriate behavior?
In the sensational Karen Reed murder trial, this day of testimony perhaps the most explosive.
Unprofessional comments I should not have made.
Lead investigator Michael Proctor forced to read inappropriate texts in open court that he sent in a chat with other state troopers and his immediate supervisor, Sergeant Yuri Buchanek. Here's what Proctor wrote when someone in the group posted a photo of Reed's attorney, David Yannetti.
Funny, I'm going through his client's phone. No nude so far. I hate that man. I truly hate him.
The The text thread also included Lieutenant John Fanning, seen here talking at a local school. According to this internal affairs report the NBC 10 investigators obtained, shortly after the case ended in a mistrial, a state police detective investigated Fanning's role in the exchange and whether he failed to adequately supervise by not taking appropriate action. It's something defense attorneys questioned Proctor about on the stand.
Not one, but two of your supervisors, correct?
Correct.
Did either Trooper Fanning or Trooper Buchanan dress you down in a responsive text message?
But the phone records revealed Sergeant Buchanan laughed at the photo of Unetti and liked the derogatory comment about Reed. Meantime, Fanning, the high-ranking lieutenant, was silent in the conversation. He later told investigators he was on vacation with family in North Carolina at the time, and that if he'd seen the texts, he would have addressed the comments.
Okay, so these came from me.
It wasn't until Proctor's testimony that Fanning said he learned he was on the vulgar text thread. The detective who conducted the internal investigation determined there was not evidence to prove or disprove the allegation and concluded it was not sustained.
So Fanning is also tied to the controversial case of Sandra Birchmore, which you just heard Eli talk about. He was among the state troopers who investigated her death, which was initially ruled a suicide. It wasn't until federal authorities intervened that a former Stoughton police officer was recently arrested and charged with her murder. Live in the studio, Ryan Kath, NBC 10 investigators.
Okay, Ryan, let's stay on the Birchmore case. William Farwell, another former Stoughton police officer, was due to get a hearing today about the suspension of his police certification. The NBC 10 investigators has learned the Massachusetts Post Commission's private meeting did not have enough attending commissioners, so it was pushed back to a later date. William Farwell is the twin brother of Matthew Farwell, the man charged with killing Birchmore. Prosecutors say Matthew is also the father of Birchmore's unborn child. William has not been charged in the case, but documents allege he also had a sexual relationship with Birchmore.
Glenn, then there is State Police Trooper Enrique Delgado-Garcia. Today marks 1 week since he was hospitalized after taking part in a training exercise, but we still don't know what agency will oversee the investigation into his death. Our NBC 10's Bianca Beltran continuing our team coverage tonight live in Worcester with what she's uncovered. Bianca.
Well, Priscilla, it has not been easy getting an answer to that question. Who polices the police within the state of Massachusetts? And today we asked Governor Maura Healey about public trust in these types of investigations, given that there is no apparent clear answer regarding oversight and accountability of the Massachusetts State Police.
Is there any other agency providing an independent oversight of MSP?
Not that I'm aware of.
Todd McGee is a former Massachusetts State Police instructor, now security analyst. He says typically incidents that occur at the State Police Academy are subject to internal affairs investigations. State police detectives with the Worcester District Attorney's Office have also been tasked with investigating incidents at the academy, such as recruits who were injured 2 years ago during a crawling exercise that resulted in burns. The Worcester DA said state police detectives have begun an investigation into the death of Enrique Delgado-Garcia, a recruit who died last week after participating in a training exercise at the State Police Academy. But the case will be handed over to another agency that does not have a conflict of interest.
I'm envisioning that there might be a involvement with the Department of Justice. Perhaps the FBI may become the lead investigative agency, and that would not surprise me. That seems to be the appropriate structure.
A week after Delgado-Garcia was hospitalized, no agency has been named. His death prompting questions about what trainees experience at the State Police Academy and who provides oversight and accountability.
I have oversight, and I take that charge really seriously because I want to make sure that, for the public's sake, we're giving the very best to law enforcement in terms of support, best training, best instruction. And, it also goes back to why we've got to have this particular incident investigated with answers as quickly as possible.
Now, when it comes to the investigation of the death of Enrique Delgado-Garcia, a spokesperson for the Worcester District Attorney's Office tells me that they are not seeking a judicial inquest, which is essentially requesting that a judge determine if a death may have been caused or may have been the result of a crime. Reporting live in Worcester, Massachusetts, I'm Bianca Beltran, NBC 10 Boston.
Bianca, thank you. We will be following all three of these cases very closely as they make their way through the justice system. Be sure to stay with NBC 10 Boston on air and online for the very latest.